For the last couple of years, every first Wednesday of the month is time for a new version of Home Assistant. Today we'll be looking at what's new in the September release, or what is also known as Home Assistant 2023.9. We will look at more information cards, changes to the tile cards, new integrations, changes to the weather integration, and much more. But I must also mention that this video was recorded on the beta release of Home Assistant 2023.9, beta 4 to be exact. I try to wait as much as I can with the recording of this video to test everything out, to see if there are any major bugs or issues, so that you can know upfront what will work and what will not work for you. So let's start with what's new. We'll start with the changes to the more information cards for the climate, humidifier and the water heater. This is what the current climate card looks like. This one is for the air condition. The mode list should list all the available options for your own climate card. As this is AC, I have option to set it to auto, heat and cool, heat, cool, dry, fan only, and of course off. As you may have noticed, the UI adapts based on the settings or mode that you select. For example, for fan only, I can decrease and increase the temperature, but that should have no impact on the fan itself. If we set it to cool mode, the highlighted line moves to the left, and you decrease the temperature in the room that the AC is working in. For the heating option, we have quite opposite. We have dot that represents the current temperature. We see the line that is set to where the current temperature is set at, and then we can visually see when it starts to heat. In the presets, you have all the presets for, once again, your climate entity. For me, this is away, home and auto, because I'm using Tado infrared controller for my AC. If we look at other climate entity, for example, this one is smart thermostatic radiator valve from Tado once again, we have a list of modes that is auto, heat and off, because this one only allows you to heat the room. You can decrease or increase the temperature. For water heaters, depending on your system, you have option to decrease or increase the temperature of the hot water that is produced, either by using mouse to drag and drop it, or using your finger if it's a touch display. You can use the arrows to control it, but also keyboard shortcuts work. For the modes, I have auto, heat and off. And depending on your type of the humidifier, this is SwitchBot humidifier, you can also set the humidity level. And as I said, this all depends on the type of the climate, humidity or water heater integration or system you are using. While we are talking about the changes with the UI, let's talk about changes to the tiles themselves. These are normal or traditional tiles. If we click on three dots, Edit Dashboard, Edit, we can now select features that we want to see under this tile. For example, I can add climate HVAC modes and target temperature, or remove it. And yes, you can also drag and drop to sort them through the UI. Depending on the type of the tile card, some or none of the options may be available. For example, these are some of the options that you may see, once again depending on your climate, humidity, water heater, etc. integration. In terms of my SwitchBot humidifier, unfortunately, there is no compatible features available at this moment. But that's not all, we also have additional tiles that have been worked on. These are, for example, curtain or tilt blinds. I cannot show you my tilt blind because it's still in the box and I'm missing probably 10 more of them. For the features, we have cover open close, cover position, or in terms of blinds, cover tilt. And as for the lights, we can select light temperature or light brightness. Let's now look at the new entity component. We have a lawnmower. Unfortunately, at the time of the recording, there is no specific lawnmower integration. But if you do have a lawnmower that has MQTT compatibility, if somebody would have said to me that lawnmowers would have MQTT connection a couple of years ago, I would, yeah. But anyway, if you do have a lawnmower that has MQTT compatibility, you can now hook it up inside Home Assistant. The integration itself is pretty similar to the robot vacuums, so Behind the scenes it is probably almost the same. Sometimes you could need a new helper. And with these changes that has been introduced in the September release of Home Assistant, you now can see previews of those helpers. If we go to Create, Group, Sensor Group, and do note there is a new event group, but we will create Sensor Group. For example, we can create median outdoor temperature. The case for this can be that if you have more than one sensor in an area, you want to create a maximum, minimum or median value of that specific room. Let's add loggia and balcony temperature. Those are two Aqara sensors that I use to measure outside temperature, in front and on the back side of my apartment. Select median, and the median temperature value is 21.595 degrees. And don't forget that you can tweak how many digits you see here. While we are already looking at the helpers, let's look at the template sensor. Create helper, template, template sensor. This is something that you previously had to do in the YAML file. Now you can do it here. For example, distance from. I still do not know what distance I will be using here because I'm not sure which zone will be okay for the video, so let's leave it at distance from. In the state template, you just input the template. In my case, I'm looking at the device distance between the device tracker and the zone home, rounding it to only one digit. Unit of measurement will be kilometers. Device class will be distance, and this will automatically change the icon. And the state class is measurement. This works like any other template. Except the bad thing is that you cannot see it anymore in the YAML code, and there is also no YAML preview button here. But on the other hand, for all of you that do not prefer YAML, this is now an easy way to create a template sensor. And yes, as with everything in the UI in Home Assistant, if you are typing it, you have option to select from what zone, what device tracker, etc. One of the first integrations everybody is adding to Home Assistant during the onboarding process is the weather information. If you know how weather integrations worked previously, well, up until September release of Home Assistant, you had a weather entity that included forecast. And if you need this forecast information, you had to pull it as an attribute, no matter what type of weather integration you are using. Well, that changes, and that breaking changes a lot. Now, this changes with the September release of Home Assistant. We now have a new service called Weather Forecast. You select the entity that you want to apply this to, for example, AccuWeather or this generic weather, and you select a forecast type. It can be daily, hourly, or twice a day. When you do a service call, it will do the update and you will receive a response of the forecast for that specific weather integration. This then can be used in the template sensors or whatever. While the forecast attribute is still visible here, it will be deprecated and removed in 6 months, or to be exact, in the March of 2024. I know that a lot of people will have issues with that because now you will have to update your automations and things that use attributes for the forecast from the weather information. But hopefully this is for the better. In last couple of releases of Home Assistant, we also had updates to the onboarding process. And while most of you that are watching these videos probably have Home Assistant already installed, some of us or new users do install them frequently, and updating it was a good idea, especially for the new users that do not know what to expect. We do also have a couple of new integrations added to the system, and as always we also have breaking changes. Not everything has been listed here, but before you update your system, I strongly recommend that you go through that list. At the beginning of the video I said that you should wait until the end for some other news, and here we are. The September also brings us something else. This is the anniversary of Home Assistant and Nabu Casa. If I'm not mistaken, 10 years of Home Assistant and 5 years of Nabu Casa. Congrats and happy birthday. There will be, of course, as always, event where some new things will be announced. And the last announcement is for all of you that are living here in the region, Croatia or even Zagreb. We will be having our second meetup. If you can join us, the link to registration is down below. The only thing left for me to say is thank you to all those wonderful people that are supporting me and that have become YouTube channel members. Thank you all for all of your support. But let's not forget each and every one of you who has watched, liked, commented, or subscribed to my channel. If you too want to support the channel, you can do so by clicking the join button down below and becoming a YouTube channel member or going to my merchandise store and buy something there. I will be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have